Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Sprout. So, since the last episode, I've done a bit of work, starting down here. I guess we'll start down here. First up, I added a little entryway here into the base. So basically, if you want to get down the basement and you're more in the Britannia area or something like that, you can come up this way. And we got some double doors, and look, it's not stone anymore, for the most part. There is still a little bit of stone, like if we come up here. I haven't changed all of this over just yet. But you can see I've done a bit of work throughout here. I also added some acacia doors here, just kind of like, I guess, bathhouse doors. And anyways, if we come down here, I'm using glowstone lamps, the lit redstone lamps, here for lighting. And then I also changed up some of the framing here, so we've got, you know, this chiseled stone out here, and then those limestone bricks through here. And then in here I've done a bit of work, basically just adding floor and stuff like that. And then if we come through here, this section here is a bit more organized. So we've got these big double entryways into this room, this will be a little while before we set up this room, but and then through here, this connects out to right here. And then if we come on through here, this pathway actually leads to a little platform area that comes across. And it still needs a little bit of work, but it's, you know, it's coming along. And then through here, this is actually going to lead up to the dragon roost. Okay? Not done at all. Then, if we pop down here, I started digging out for where our subway is going to be. I haven't actually started implementing that at all, but I did make some Portuguese pavement and start working on that a little bit. And hopefully before long we'll start getting into railcraft and start setting up our subway system, our track systems, and doing a bit of that. I think for that setup it's going to be pretty much just, you know, mine carts, but a little bit later on, we're actually going to get into locomotives with railcraft and doing a bit of automatic item movement and stuff. And actually in one of the upcoming episodes, I can't say for sure when, but we're going to be working on our big Britannia mana generation setup, which is going to be a slime farm. It's both going to be a slime mob farm, and then in addition, it's going to be mana production as well. Over here, I've done a little bit on the walls, but not a whole lot. Those take so long to build at the moment. And then if we pop on down here, down here what I've done is minor, I guess. First up, I added a drawer here for shale. You can see we've almost got 5 stacks of aquamarine shale. This is capped out. And we have a ton of sand. Like if we open this up, we have 106,000 sand, and now it's just voiding everything. And the way I've got that running is basically there's a conveyor belt. Actually, you can probably see it a little bit better. Yeah, see right there, it's a conveyor belt that grabs the sand and the shale, and then it just goes into a drawer controller that goes into, you know, putting the sand in here and putting the aquamarine shale in there. That seemed like the best method for us. With our current setup and everything. And then over here we have a ton of living rock now. 115 stacks of living rock. Stone, we have 25 stacks. We are going to get that sorted in just a moment. And I'll tell you what, actually, we've got an extra void upgrade. I'm going to go ahead and throw that into there. And I'll get some... I don't think I have any emerald upgrades at the moment. I do not. I'll make some of those in a bit and add that to that. But anyways, I think the first thing that we're going to do today is we are going to fix this. Because, you know, we've been having that issue with the lava. And we're going to kind of sort that out real quick. And it's not too difficult to sort out. First up, let's go ahead and grab ourselves a bucket. And we're going to go ahead and pull up that lava for just a minute. And then I'm going to go ahead and place this back so that liquid starlight won't flow through there. Well, we do have liquid starlight flowing through there. That's fine. I'll just stop it with that. Okay. And you may have noticed that liquid starlight and water makes ice. you know, there's a bunch of, well, not a bunch of, but there's a few different combinations like that, and we'll get into those a little bit later on with the liquid starlight. But what we're going to do is we are going to add, and I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to move that liquid starlight over just a little bit, and instead have it sitting right over there. Okay, I'll tell you what. Whoops. Okay, let me grab this lava up real quick. And I'm just going to pull up this dirt for the time being while we make some adjustments here. Alright, let's put living rock down right there. And then we're going to put our liquid starlight down. And then our lava down. So that's running again. We'll go ahead and close that off real quick. And I wonder where... There we go. There's my other piece of mana glass. Okay, so that's running. Because I actually had an extra slot that I didn't really need for that liquid starlight. So we'll just shift that over. And then what we're going to do is we are going to get ourselves... first up, let's get a piston. And I'm also going to want just a little bit more living rock bricks. And what we're going to do is we're going to set the piston up like right here. Then we're just going to put it on top of our pulse mana spreader. And then we can go ahead and close this back off. I don't really need in there anymore. Okay, and then I'm just going to bring some living rock brick out like that. And I'm going to have to get some redstone. I don't think I have any on me. I do not. So let's go ahead and head upstairs. And we'll just teleport inside, all magic-y like. And what I want to do is I just want to basically make a circuit here that comes out and goes over this piston. Okay. And actually, no, not right there. There we go. And so you can see that the piston activates whenever the hovering hourglass goes off. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to fill this top part in now with living rock bricks. Let me go get just one more set. And we'll grab that. And basically what we're doing is we're interrupting the lava flow. Okay. So then what we can do is we can take our bucket of lava and just pour it over the top here. Like right there. And that's going to flow down. It's going to make the stone that we need. But after every activation, that's going to get interrupted. Okay, I actually had to go grab another bucket of liquid starlight, which is fine. We've got a bunch made up. But I had to shift it back to here. Because otherwise, sitting right here, it wanted to turn it to sand all the time. So, basically, I just shifted it back to here, and it kind of flows around and then hits that. And now it's running, you know, no problem at all. But anyways, what this does, I mean, there's no mana in the system right now. It's pretty much tapped out everything up there. But it's going to interrupt that every time that it runs. So that way the lava never, you know, gets stuck in that, like, never-ending flow downwards. So it pretty much keeps us from that while still creating stone and allowing it to drop. So very, very simple fix. So anyways, now that we've got that done, I believe that stuff's already marked off the list. Yeah, smooth stone, living wood, sand. Okay. Now, metamorphic stone. Originally, I was planning on doing metamorphic stone this episode. But Phoenix Lodge brought it to my attention. The Metamorphosa, whatever. What's it called? Mariposa? No. Metamorphosis flower. I can never remember the exact name on some of these flowers. But it actually has a bug right now, which I used it fine in Quantus, if you recall. So sometime since then, it's developed a bug in 1.10 that whenever it goes to change the stone over, it crashes. So I'm going to see... I mean, I really don't think there's much we can do as far as that goes. So I'll give it a little bit, and then if we run into the issue where we want the metamorphic stones and stuff, I don't know, set up a trade or I'll do something for those. We'll see. We'll figure it out. So, anyways, we're not going to be doing the whatever, that flower, the Metamorphosis flower. We're not going to be doing that right now due to that. However, today what we're going to be doing, originally I was planning on doing Astral Sorcery this episode, but I changed my mind. A little bit. We are going to be doing a little bit of Ars Magica, because there's some stuff I want to get. First up, I want to get vinteum production up and going. I also want to get glass automated today. And it actually goes along with our Ars Magica stuff. And then I want to get our item repairing. Because, you know, this chest piece is getting down to about half. And legs are getting down close to half. I want to get item repairing up and going. And then we can finally get rid of this helmet and get something else. And have that stuff kind of automated, you know, as far as repairing it goes. By the way, if you guys were wondering what these are, I was testing some things a while back, made some essence conduits. We haven't covered those. We'll get into those later. Sometimes I test in this, you know, in my main worlds if it's minor things that are cheap, but that was one of those cases. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into what we're going to be doing today. And let me go ahead and grab my Arcane Compendium, because we are going to need that. And let's start getting into a bit of Ars Magica. Now today, the first thing that we're going to get into is the calefactors. Okay, and I'm going to make a few of these. I think I'm going to start with 4 today. And then later on we'll do 4 more. And honestly, I think that's going to be plenty for what we're going to be doing with them. But we'll kind of play it by ear. So for this, we're going to need some lapis, some stone, some redstone, some vinteum dust. None of this stuff is an issue at all. I'll just grab like a stack of stone. It's not like we have stone automated or anything. And then we'll get a bit of vinteum. I've only got 6 down here. I don't know if I have any vinteum ore. If not, that's fine. We'll start with 3. Or no, it's only one vinteum, right? For the calefactor. Okay, yeah, it's just 1. Okay, and then we're going to need redstone. We've got that. And then let me go grab just a bit of lapis. And I think probably in the next couple episodes we may go ahead and automate like diamonds and emeralds and all that stuff. Now eventually we are going to do a auto mining setup with Botania, but it's very mana intensive, so we're not going to do that just yet. It'll be after we set up our main mana producer, but there is a very easy way for us to automate diamonds and emeralds and a lot of those like rare materials, and so we're going to be doing that fairly soon. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the next episode, who knows. Honestly, it'll probably be after Railcraft, though, is kind of what I'm thinking. But let's go ahead and get ourselves 4 of these calefactors. And then I'm also, let me see, what does it take to make an obelisk? That actually takes a little bit of vinteum, so I'm not going to make that just yet. I'll probably steal the one that's down here for right now. Yeah, we'll go ahead and grab this obelisk. Actually, I don't know. No, I'm not going to be able to tear it down with that. Okay, what we're going to need is we're going to need a Magitech staff as well. This is just blue topaz and gold nuggets. Let me go grab some of that stuff. And let's see, blue topaz. There is a... Yeah, right. That one right there. Okay, so let's get our Magitech staff. There's that. And basically this is one of, you know, we've got the crystal wrench, and I am going to go ahead and grab that out because we are going to need it today. Yep, there it is. Okay, but the Magitech staff, what you can do is a lot of this stuff you can actually, is it shift? Oh, there we go. It just takes like a million years to break that thing. Okay, but anyways, what we're going to do is above this sand, I'm going to set up the calefactors up here. Okay. I think right here will be good. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put these... I guess we'll go like bam, 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 and then bam. Okay, so we've got all 4 of those set up. And then on the sides over here, I'm going to put obelisks down like right... I guess we'll put 1 right here, and then what we'll probably do... Oh, I actually want that little opening facing forward. So we'll put it like right there. And then we'll have another obelisk right here. Okay? This will be kind of like our little calefactor setup. And then what I'm going to do, in order to get all this working, we are going to get into flickers a little bit. Start getting into those. We'll do a lot with those as the series progresses, because I want to use a lot of stuff from Blood Magic, a lot of stuff from Ars Magica, a lot of stuff from Botania, a lot of stuff from Astral Sorcery, you know, kind of mix it up. I know we've been doing a whole lot of Botania lately, but I do want to use the other magic mods a bit. So today we're going to start getting into flickers. And, you know, we're going to get into flicker habitats, flicker jars, flicker foci, all that stuff. But anyways, the first thing that we are going to need is if we look at flickers, what does it take to make a flicker lure? Oh, it's actually not too bad. Well, I'll tell you what, let me go see if I have any vinteum. Because that's going to decide our next step. Because I'm either going to need to get vinteum being produced and just have it, you know, kind of manual. For right now, I don't know, I've got plenty of vinteum. Okay. I'm just going to run this through one of these furnaces upstairs. I know I have a chance to double in those, but honestly, after the setup is up and going, doubling vinteum is not going to be important at all, because we're going to have more vinteum than we know what to do with. I don't know what I'm aggroing, by the way. I just keep aggroing things, and I don't know where they're coming from. So, well, let's see. I'm also going to grab a bit of blue topaz. I didn't realize I had some over here and over here. I could actually get rid of that, but that's okay. Whatever. Okay, so I think the first thing that we're going to go for is the flicker lure. And that takes stone, iron, vinteum. Alright, there we go. How am I missing stone? Oh, it's stone bricks, that's why. Okay. And I will say that in one of the upcoming episodes, we're also going to get the blaze farm set up too. That's another really important thing that we're going to be doing before too long. And I actually want this piece of cobblestone. Funny story. And let me grab that. That. There we go. And let's go ahead and get a lever, because we're going to need that for our flicker lure. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get ourselves... We're going to set up our flicker foci. And I think for right now... Well, I'll tell you what. For right now, we're just going to set it up over here. And I think we're going to eventually do like a flicker room. I may even put it over here, like long term. But for right now, right over here is fine. And then I'm also going to... I'm going to go ahead and put this lever on it. And then what we're going to do is... Let's go ahead and throw in a bit of vinteum into this. Go ahead and get that running. And we'll go ahead and connect it. There we go. Oops. There we go. Pairing successful. And if we take a look here, that's starting to build up with etherium. Neutral etherium is fine. And then, which the Magitech staff can be used to see the amounts in that and stuff. As well as the amounts in this and all that good stuff. The next thing I'm going to want are empty flicker jars. Okay, this is glass panes, magic walls, gold nuggets. So we'll head on up here. Whoops. Oh, oh God. It's like terrible luck right there. I think I blinked into the wrong spot there, which was no good. I think I blinked like right on top of the spikes too to make it even better. Okay, so flicker jars, gold nuggets, magic walls, and glass panes. So anyways, let's get our magic walls. That takes, oh, I put all my vinteum down there, didn't I? That's fine. Let me grab like a stack of gold nuggets, and that's really all that we need at the moment. And we'll get like half of this vinteum to use. And let me grab this. Okay, so now we're all set. Let's get a thing of magic walls, and then we'll get, oh yeah, we'll get a bit of these glass panes. There we go, and flicker jars. There we go. Okay, so we got 16 flicker jars. That means we can capture 16 flickers. Now, flickers, you may have seen them flying around. You know, they kind of just hover about, and then they'll disappear after a short while, especially once you get closer to them. But if we open this up and we take a look at flicker focus, what we're going to be making right now is going to be the item transport flicker focus. That's the one that we're after. And this requires an air flicker jar. And in addition, we're going to want arcane flickers and lightning flickers. So those are the three that we're after. Now, if we take a look at... Let's see, I got to remember where this... flicker, is it? No, not under flicker jars. Is it under mobs, maybe? Yeah. Okay, right here you can see all the different types of flickers. So there's air, arcane, earth, ender, fire, flickers. Ice Flicker, Life Flicker, Lightning, Nature, and Water. Now, if we take a look here at Flicker Focus, the one that we're after is Item Transport. And you can read here, and it talks about how to use Item Transport. We're going to be doing that in the video. But if you take a look over here, it says Arcane and Lightning. And what these are is these are for the cohabitation, which we'll get into that in just a second with the Flicker habitats and stuff. But you'll notice that Arcane can be used to adjust the item transport foci to allow it to increase the amount of items it moves at a time. So one of those increases to 32, and each additional one after that does another 32. So, you know, having one Arcane Flicker, you're already up to a half stack. Then you have a stack, then you have a stack and a half, then 2 stacks, depending on how many of those you link to your item transport foci. And then you have lightning flickers that increase the speed at which they move items. Now we're just going to be going, I think, for probably 1 arcane, and then we'll get like 3 lightning. Because you'll notice in here, the item transport, it says that most Magitechs believe it's a waste to go higher than 3 lightning flickers. 3, you have diminished returns with the lightning ones, so going really high on those isn't really all that worth it. So I'm thinking that 3 will probably be our goal on that. But I guess, let's see, I'm trying to figure out exactly how I'm going to want to set this up too. Okay. Well, anyways, what we can do with this flicker lure is if we give it etherium, which we're feeding from this obelisk, and then we give it a redstone signal, it's going to start to summon flickers. And you can see, I mean, it summons a ton of them all over the place. And what we can do is, these are actually kind of hard to capture. Yeah. We can chase after them. There we go. We just caught one. That is an earth flicker. And I don't mind catching ones that we're not necessarily after at the moment. That's due to the fact that we will eventually use these, so I don't mind it. Honestly, it might be better to put them in a little room over there, or build a little room around this for the time being. I don't know. Normally I would, but yeah, I'll tell you what. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take just some of the stone, or actually let me grab... stone's fine. We have a bunch right here next to us. And this is just going to be a little temporary housing place for it. We'll just do like this, and we'll do something a little bit better before too long. So now if we hit this, you can see the flickers are being summoned, and we can just kind of snag these. We got fire, we got an arcane. Oh, there's a lightning. That's one I'm actually after. And we'll just grab a whole bunch of these. There's air. There's a lightning. Okay, I'm actually after lightning. So can I get... let's see. That item transport is an air. Okay. So I'm just waiting on lightning. I don't really need these others right now. And I only have 4 jars left. So I'd like to get a few more lightnings, if at all possible. There we go. I think we were kind of reaching the entity, the flicker entity cap. Let's see, we're up to 2 lightning right now. Yeah, see, it's burning through all that etherium like as fast as it can be sent over here at the moment from that single obelisk. But there we go. There we go. Okay. And I'll just grab another one for good measure. Another flicker. Alright, so we got our 3 lightning flickers, we got our arcane flicker that we wanted, and we have air flickers. So, alright, we are done with that for the time being. And I'll go ahead and just release the flickers unto the world. So let's go ahead and put up the ones that we don't need. We don't need fire. We don't need water. We don't need ice. And we don't need most of these air. Well, we only need one of these air flickers. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to make is our flicker focus. This requires a couple chimerite and a couple blue topaz. Not a problem. There we go. And then we're going to make our flicker habitat. Now this requires chimerite blocks, vinteum, and iron. It's actually a little bit on the expensive side, and we are going to want a few of these. So I think we're going to start out with 5. Yeah, we're going to use 5 for this setup. So we'll go ahead and grab that. Really, I could probably do with 4. I don't necessarily need the arcane flicker focus, but I want to use it just so you guys can see what it does. And there's really no harm in doing that. So, okay, let's get that, and then we'll get our 5 flicker habitats. And then we're going to set this up, and I think I'm going to put it like right... Let's see, it's going to have to connect to the sand. It's going to have to connect to the calefactors. It's going to have to connect to the obelisks. It's going to have to connect to storage. In this case, probably right in here. But it should be fine. If I recall correctly, this has like 6 radius or something like that. Yeah, I think so. Now you'll also notice that this, it says it can operate without access to etherium. However, it's very slow. We're going to be running it without etherium because there's no reason for us to be running this super fast. Well, I don't know. It says that we may have to give it power. It says that it needs it to make use of the attached upgrades. However, in my creative world, it didn't need power to use the attached flicker habitat. So we'll just kind of play it by ear and see how it goes. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to put it like right... Okay, I'll tell you what I want. I want one more calefactor. Let's get one more of these guys. There we go. And we'll have 5 instead of just 3 of them, or 4 of them. So we'll have it just like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pull up some of this grass. And we'll do just like that. And then I'm going to put the flicker habitats down. I wonder how... Well, the only thing is I've got that. Let's see, if I grab some living rock, and I set this down right there. I think that looks okay if I replace like this and put some living rock down and stuff. Yeah, let me do that real quick. And then we'll put our calefactors back down like that. And then what I'll probably do is have... Well, there's going to be an obelisk here. You're not going to be able to see the ground, but... We'll have this kind of come around like that. Okay, so maybe something like that. I mean, I might change it. We'll see, but... for right now, I think that's okay. And we kind of have that, like, liquid starlight kind of bugging through our flicker habitats. But anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to put our flicker focus in the middle, okay? For a flicker habitat to connect, you know, we looked just a second ago at right here, the arcane and the lightning. They can be used to alter the way the flicker habitat works, like make it better. You kind of have to think of these as like upgrades, right? Arcane upgrades, lightning upgrades. And for those to take effect, they have to be adjacent to the flicker habitat. So at best, you could have 6 habitats connecting to a single focus, okay? So what we're going to do is we're just going to right-click this focus into, or place it into this flicker habitat. So you can see it does not require etherium, might use it if provided. If it's provided etherium, it would use 10 per operation, and it would run, currently runs at 1 second, every 1 second. We don't need it to be super fast in this case. So that is fine. And then what we're going to do is to use our arcane flicker jar. We're going to place this one into there, and you can see, okay, this one requires etherium to function. Etherium per operation 500. Yeah, we're totally not going to be using that. What about the lightning? It requires, okay, never mind. We may not even use these then. In my test world I didn't have to, but maybe it was because it was a test world. Sometimes testing isn't really accurate in Minecraft. So, if that's the case, then I don't need all these. And I can adjust the way this is set up a bit. Let's try this and we'll see if it works. We'll set it up and then we'll see if the upgrades will work without etherium. If they do require that much etherium, they're really not worth running, really, because it's not something that we necessarily need, because this stuff's not going to be producing like crazy fast anyways. So it's not something I'm too worried about. So first up, what we're going to do is let's take our obelisk. And actually, let me make that other obelisk that we needed. Or no, for testing purposes, I'm going to leave this one alone, because if I have to move it, if we only end up sticking with the flicker habitat and not the adjacent ones, then I won't leave these set up the way they are. So, okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to right-click this, right-click that, and then connect that, connect that, connect that, and connect that. Okay, so this is giving each of these etherium, all these calefactors. And basically what the calefactor is it is just, more or less, it's a furnace. Okay, now before we start using these, there's a couple things, or there's one thing in particular that I want to make a few of, and that is right here, the mana focus. We're going to need 3 of these per calefactor. Okay, and these take standard focuses. That's lesser focus, that's glass, surrounded by gold nuggets. So, all in all, we're going to need, what, 15 of these? We can make 8 right now, so I'm just going to start with 8. That's fine. And then we're going to get 8 of these, and then 3 of our mana foci. Okay, so for right now, we're only going to be running 1 calefactor. That's fine. And we'll go ahead and put these into here. And they go in these 3 slots right there. Okay? And then what we're going to do is, like I said, this is pretty much just a furnace, more or less. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this for glass automation, is my long-term plan. And so we're going to put sand into this. And you'll notice they start spinning, and that means they're running right now. They're burning through that sand. And after a minute, it does take a little while to run. It's not the fastest furnace in the world. But you can see it made some glass. And there's a pretty high chance, I've noticed, with glass. It's like 50% or higher. Earlier I'd set up a calefactor in my test world, and after 4 operations it had 4 vinteum. Okay, so it comes down to RNG, but you can see that it's already produced a piece of vinteum. Okay, and it can produce that vinteum, and it actually will produce, especially with 3 mana focuses in there, because what these do is for each one it reduces the mana cost. Okay, because by default I think it's like 500 etherium per operation, but each of these reduces it by half. So first up, it's, say it's 500, then it would be 250, and then 125, and so on. So you can actually drop that mana cost down a lot. And you can see I'm actually producing a fair amount of vinteum. It's about 50%, it seems like, which is not bad. Not bad at all. And that's going to produce way more vinteum than what an obelisk is consuming. Okay? So with this, with a full setup of this, we're going to have pretty much infinite vinteum, because after it fills up the obelisk, it's going to keep producing and keep producing and keep producing. And so we're automating glass and we're automating vinteum in one fell swoop with this. And having automatic vinteum is going to make Ars Magica so much easier moving forward, because vinteum is one of those resources that you use a lot of. And etherium, we could set up like a full etherium battery with tons of obelisks producing our neutral energy. Now, bear in mind that this is just for neutral energy. We are going to get into the light and the dark. And there's also some other added effects of the calefactor. You can read through them about it in the book. But basically, calefactors have a natural, innate chance, a small chance to double any food items that are cooked. And actually, if you feed it all 3, light, neutral, and dark, energy into these, it will or double. But it does require 3 times the energy, because it requires full energy of light, neutral, and dark. Okay? So, not something we're going to get into today, though. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to get some crystals from Ars Magica. And if we take a look here, there's a few different ones that you can use. There's import crystals, there's export, there's mimic export, set export, regulate export, regulate bidirectional crystals, and then there's also set import, final export, and spell export. Okay, so there's a bunch of different ones, and they all do different things. Okay, import and export are your basic, import items here, export items here. But we're going to be going for set export. And to get these, we're actually going to need some export crystals. And to get export crystals requires just any kind of blue dye, lapis will work, and then just a bit of blue topaz. Okay, so let's go ahead and get ourselves, first up we're going to get our export crystals, and I'm going to go ahead and grab 3 of those, it's fine. And then import crystals, that's yellow and blue topaz. Let me go grab some more blue topaz and some yellow dye. Well, I've got, actually, I think floral fertilizer would work. Or not, yellow, or floral, yeah, floral powder. That'll work. And there's a half stack of floral yellow powder. That'll be good. And we'll head on back down there. I think I've got everything that we need. Oh yeah, the set export. Okay, that actually requires light blue. So let me go get a little bit of light blue dye as well. I'm just going to do floral dye again. Okay, let's see how this is going. Yeah, see, we've smelted already about a half stack of glass. We've gotten 13 vinteum. So, very, very nice. That's not bad at all. But let's go ahead and upgrade all of our set export crystals. We'll go ahead and get all 3 of those. And then our import crystals, let's go ahead and get 3 of these. Okay, and then what I want to do is down here, I know that export crystals cannot connect to drawers. I tested it and tested it. I cannot get the exports to feed into a drawer. I'm not for sure about imports though. So we're going to try connecting an import onto a drawer, and I guess we'll just use this drawer controller here. I wish this sand would quit harassing me. So we're going to put an import crystal down right there, and then what we're going to do is we are going to just right click that with our crystal wrench, and then right click, shift right click our flicker habitat, right? What's that? Let's do that. Okay. We'll shift right click the flicker habitat first and then the crystal. Okay. And then what I want to do is I want to set I'm going to put a set export crystal, and we're going to put it just on the top of the calefactor. It doesn't seem to matter what side you put it on. So if we put it on the top, it's kind of hidden under the item that it's smelting at the moment. And so then what we're going to do is we're going to set it to sand. Okay? And then we're just going to right click that with our wand that's already been bound to the flicker habitat. Okay, I tell you what, it seems like it's not importing from the drawer, I'm thinking. So let's try putting some sand into this, and then we'll put an import crystal onto this, and we'll just bind that over. Yeah, you can see it's going up right now. Okay, that's what I was curious about. So if I was to place, say, a lightning flicker into this, if I did like one right there, one right there, one right there, and then we put, say, an arcane flicker. Yeah, see, they work even without mana. Yeah, these don't have any kind of etherium, but they're still working. Okay, so they don't actually need etherium, even outside of Creative World. So that's great. Then we're going to use them, okay? Just because it makes things faster. But you can see it's pulling things from the chest and then putting them into this calefactor and, you know, smelting that sand for us. Okay, so what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to figure out a way that we want to move sand from the frame drawer and move it into something that can access. Which is kind of tricky because I think most of the sides of this are covered right now. I'll tell you what, I'm going to pull this import crystal off. And you have to use the Magitech staff to do that, by the way. So just a heads up on that. Let me grab a bit of this stuff. I'll keep this glass smelting for right now. And I'm just going to pull this out. And by the way, the purpose of this set export crystal is we can set sand, and it knows that it can only export sand. Okay, if I was to put, you know, something else in here that could be smelted, it could not go into this because it's set to only accept sand. Okay, and we're getting so much vinteum right now. Let's go ahead and throw this into there. So let's get ourselves just kind of. There we go. Let's get ourselves a hopper. Just like that. And we're just going to have this feed into a, like a drawer, feed into a hopper. That'll be fine. And I'm just going to use one of these drawers that we used to have set up that doesn't really match anything anymore. I think that'll be okay. So what we're going to do is we'll remove this piece of oak trim and we'll put a drawer in there instead. Okay? So that's probably going to start filling up with sand, I would think. There we go. We'll throw some sand in there. Oh, is it not really prioritizing that? Or it may not recognize it yet. It may take it a second. Because if you recall in the past, we had... Yeah, there we go. Now it's figured it out. So it's going to feed that sand until it fills up. Okay, and then any excess is going to go over to that other one. Because I'm not going to put a void upgrade or any kind of storage upgrades in this one. It doesn't really matter. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have a hopper come out the bottom of this. And then we're going to put our import crystal down right here. We're going to put this onto the hopper. Because they can connect to hoppers, they just can't connect to drawers for some reason. And we'll just right click that. So that import crystal is now selected. And now we should be able to remove this one. Okay, so we'll go ahead and pull that one off. And this should still be getting sand. Okay. And then let's go ahead and set up these other calefactors. We're going to put export crystals down on these two. And, no, actually, I need mana focuses, don't I? Let me go grab... What was I missing? I was missing vinteum. That's what I was missing. Well, we got plenty of that now, so we're all set. So there's 3 mana focuses. So we can go ahead and set up another calefactor. There we go. And then we're going to set this export crystal up. Let me grab a piece of this sand here real quick. And we're going to say that you can accept sand. And then just right click it. And there we go. Pam pam. Full stack. And so that one's going to start running now. And it should start producing glass and vinteum for us. There we go. And let me go get the rest of the focuses that we need. And there was something that I was missing to make those. And I can't remember what it was. Okay, it was glass and gold nuggets. I think was the main thing. And then I'm also going to get some more redstone too. Because we're probably going to need it. And of course, we got plenty of glass now. Having this automated is going to be so nice. Okay, so let's see. We've got 2. Altogether, we're going to need 9 more. Like, total. So let's go ahead and get 7 of these. And then our standard focuses. And then our mana focuses. And we'll just go ahead and put these into each of the calefactors. There we go. And I think all of these have... I think I already connected the etherium to each of these. So let's go ahead and set up this export crystal. Say you get sand. Connect it. And there we go. And then we're going to need some more export crystals. So let's get... for right now, we'll just get 2 of those. Then we'll make some more here in just a minute. And then set export crystals. There we go. And we'll just get these set up real quick. Bam, bam. And you accept sand. You accept sand. And then just connect them to the system. And there we go. Okay, so all of our calefactors are running. They're producing vinteum. Great. It's good news. And so now that part's done. Okay, glass is being created. Vinteum's being created. And so then what we're going to do is we're going to make another obelisk first up. And to do that, I'm going to need some... what's chiseled stone bricks? It's stone slabs, isn't it? And then... yeah, put those together and that's going to get chiseled stone. And I'm going to go ahead and just make 3 obelisks. That's fine. Let me go ahead and grab like half this vinteum. Having to pull some out of there right now because once the system's all set up and running, it won't be a problem. Okay, let me dump some of this stuff off real quick. And we'll go ahead and set these obelisks up. I think I'm going to do like 1 here, and then we'll do like 2 here. Okay? So this will be our nice little calefactor setup. I think that's what I want. Or do I want to move these over to the left? Yeah, I think I want to move these over. So we'll have them like there and there. Okay? Great. And then what I want to do is I want to put import crystals down. And I'm going to need, altogether I'm going to need 5 of these. Because we're going to need 1 on each calefactor. And we'll go ahead and set these up. And I think we'll do 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. I think they look really cool too. And then we'll do like 1 here and 1 here. Okay? And then all we have to do is just set these up. I think everything is set export right now, which is great. So then we'll just right-click that, right-click that, right-click that, right-click that, and right-click that. Okay, so all of those are able to import now. They're not actually importing because there's nowhere that needs glass or that needs vinteum. So then what we're going to do is we're going to get ourselves 4 set exports. And actually, Let's go ahead and make 6 set exports. Okay, so there's 3. I'm going to need more blue topaz. So let me go grab that. It's actually a very expensive build because of all the crystals and stuff that you need, but not too bad. Considering we're going to have infinite glass, infinite vinteum after this point. So now, you know, we've got the blue shale, right? And, you know, that was a great setup because now we don't need any more aquamarine, like, ever for astral sorcery. And then after today, we won't need any more glass or any more vinteum ever again. So it's going to be really, really nice. Because bear in mind, I mean, this is producing more vinteum than what we're consuming, right? Okay, so how many did I say that I needed? 4, 5, 6 of these. And this is really the last of the stuff that we're going to need. Okay, and I made one extra export crystal. I want one of these to be a final export. I'm going to have to get some gray dye for that. We'll get that in a second, and we'll go over that one. It's a little bit different, very, very simple. Okay, so our set export crystal. Let's go ahead and... 3, what am I missing for that? Oh, light blue dye. Okay, let me go get some more light blue dye, and I'm going to go ahead and get that gray dye that we need. Actually, now that I think about it, we may not use the final export. And the reason being is because I almost forgot that I can't connect these directly to a drawer, so I can't filter. That's the thing about the final export. The final export, I'll go ahead and tell you what it does. Basically, it will export items to that location if there's nowhere else in the system that they can go. So if it was a drawer, you know, it would be fine because we could specify vinteum. Because I want it to prioritize the obelisks, giving those vinteum before it sends vinteum to storage. Okay? However, the final export can't be filtered. So that kind of causes a little bit of an issue. However, now that I think about it, it's going to export to the closest inventories before it exports to the farthest. And I think the inventory that we're going to use, we're going to put down here. We're going to have glass and we're going to have vinteum. Okay, so I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, honestly, if we put it down there. So we'll leave it like that. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, but these flicker focuses, I think I was just excited that they were connecting and working without mana. But you'll notice they actually change their direction and they point towards the flicker foci. So like this one's pointing over here, this one's pointing over here, and so on. I think they look really, really cool, right? But what we're going to do is we're going to put our set exports, and I think we're going to put these like maybe on this side. I think we'll put one right there. I think they look cool. And I don't want them to cover the little like furnace nozzle opening thing there. So we'll just set it up like that, and then let me move this. I actually don't really need this anymore. And I'll just dump all this sand. Sand's a dime a dozen at this point, so. And we'll put one right there, and then what we're going to do is we are going to specify that these export crystals can only accept vinteum. And that one's not rendering. I've noticed sometimes these crystals, it was doing the same thing in my test world, sometimes they don't render properly. But if that happens, generally on like a chunk reload or something like that, there we go. If you give them a little bit of time, they'll render. And I noticed that sometimes if you log off and log back on in my test world, they actually changed their layout. So sometimes they were like floating, pointing up. They're still connected to this, but sometimes it looks like they're trying to connect to something that's not there, or you know, something like that. It's just a rendering bug that happens with those sometimes. I love the way these look though. We might actually use these later on for decoration, because we could just put these on things and decorate. Kind of look like gemstones, right? Honestly, we're probably going to use them a lot in the sand town, because the sand town is going to be like a wealthy kind of oasis type town, and I'm going to want to do a bit of like gem work and stuff, and we will probably set those up all nice like. But anyways, you'll notice that these are starting to get vinteum, right? This one's already got a full stack. And this one, go ahead and connect that up as well. Okay, so all of these are getting vinteum now. This one's going to take a minute, which is fine. It's not really a problem. And now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and grab these and just connect each of these to the calefactors. Make sure that each of these are feeding power into the calefactors. And then what we'll do is, once we get into a mana battery, which we're not going to do that this episode because I know we're actually getting fairly close to wrapping up point, and there's some things I want to finish first. But once we get to a mana battery, we'll have these also feed over to a mana battery in addition to the calefactors. Okay? And honestly, I may just have these feed into the mana battery and then from there feed into the calefactors. I'm not for sure. So, we'll kind of play it by ear, but for right now, this is fine. Okay, so now that's set up. We've got vinteum being fed to the obelisks, keeping this filled with mana, or etherium. It's actually probably prioritizing this one. That's fine. And then what we need to do is we need to set up our last bit of exporters. Okay, and I think, let me go make a couple drawers, and we're going to do kind of the same pattern. I'm going to do, let's see, it would be vinteum and glass. So I'll probably do that pattern frame living wood again for those as well. I swear I always have sand just lying around everywhere, because sometimes hopper hawks aren't collecting sand. I almost forgot about that. We may do something, have it collecting sand somewhere or something like that. We'll see. Okay, so there's our two drawers. And also, you'll probably notice there's not a whole lot of mobs spawning in here. You know, I was having a lot of issues with mob spawns. I found, I think, the culprits. They were around in the storage area. There's some areas, and they were actually behind the storage drawers. But they weren't fully lit up back there. And after I lit those up, like, mobs just stopped spawning around us. So, that's good. But anyways, let's go ahead and break these off right here. And what we're going to do is, let's see. If I broke, I don't think that back there is actually used for anything, is it? No. Okay. No, I'm sorry. It's this one. Well, technically there's water there, but it's not really flowing down. There it goes. Which is fine. It's not going to be doing that in just a second. So, I'm going to have something sitting there. But anyways, we'll go ahead and put our... Well, you know what? I'm going to have to put this back here first. Then we'll put our drawers down right there. And I'm going to go ahead and lock these in with, first up, vinteum. And then second up, glass. Okay. So vinteum and glass are going to go right down here. Let's go ahead and get a key. And we'll go ahead and lock that in. And we'll pop right down here. We'll put the hoppers... okay, there's one of my drawers, and there's my other drawer. Okay. So our hoppers are going to feed directly into the back of these drawers. And then what we'll do, let me go grab a piece of vinteum and a piece of glass, because we're going to have to set the set exports. And this first one, this is vinteum. So we'll go ahead and put the set export as vinteum. And then this one is glass. And we'll go ahead and set that one. And then all we have to do is lock this in real quick. So let's grab our flicker habitat. And we'll just lock these. Bam, bam. And so chances are we should see all the glass getting pulled out of this now. Yep, there we go. Glass is building up at a steady rate. It's actually probably filled up the hopper, because this thing can move a lot faster than a hopper can. Yes. Awesome. And then vinteum, probably, I'm betting aside from that one piece of vinteum, we probably don't have any in here. No. Because it should be prioritizing the obelisks before that drawer, due to the fact that the obelisks are closer to the flicker habitat than the drawer is. So, that is working. That is beautiful. I love it. And now we have glass automated and we have vinteum automated. So let's go ahead and open up our clipboard. I think I have a spot in here for... I actually don't. I'm going to go ahead and put that in even though we've already done it. We'll say glass and vinteum, and there we go. That is done. Glass and vinteum is automated. And honestly, the clay, the bricks, is going to be kind of similar to this. We're going to do calefactors and have it burning for vinteum just because we can. And what I'll probably end up doing is putting, you know, maybe... I don't know, I may put void upgrades into the glass. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know that we'll need it. But I might. just so that if the glass gets filled up, we can still keep producing vinteum. But I'm not at the point right now where I need to worry about upgrades too much. But really, once this hopper catches up with the glass production, it should be able to keep up with the speed that glass is being produced. It just had a huge buffer that it had to go through, so I'm going to go ahead and empty that. And let's see, where are we at on glass? We have almost 10 stacks of glass. 61, 62. Oh, come on. 63, 64. There we go. 10 stacks of glass now. Awesome. This automation with magic is so much fun. Now, normally with Botania, you can easily do this with the furnace and the exoflames and all that, like we did with the chicken. But you know, this is kind of an alternative method to do that, kind of implementing some Ars Magica. So now, you know, as of right now, our Cobbleworks has a touch of Botania flair, a touch of Astral Sorcery flair, and a touch of Ars Magica. So I quite like it. This it's fun. It's very, very fun. Okay, so the last thing that I want this episode, because I know we're getting really, really close to wrapping up point, is I want... It'll take me a second to find it. Is it? I think it's the Arcane Reconstructor, right? It's been a little while since I used a lot of these things, but I believe it's the Arcane Reconstructor. Yes. Okay, so for this, we're going to need a diamond, a couple pieces of vinteum, a piece of obsidian, magic walls, and then just some stone. Okay, now I think... Did we use up every bit of our magic walls? Okay, well let's just, let me get a little bit of vinteum here. Wish these would hurry up and fill up, you know. They will take a minute to fill up, so it's not a big deal. Chances are by next episode, the vinteum will be filled on those, so we'll actually be producing, you know, outside of our buffers. Now, really, if I wanted to, by the way, because I didn't go over this crystal, we will use it a little bit in the future. There is a regulate export crystal, and what regulate does is it allows you to set, just like a set export crystal does, but instead of just putting in vinteum, I could say 10 vinteum, and it would try to keep 10 vinteum in this at all times. Now, I will say that with arcane flickers in there, you know, arcane flickers bump it up to 32. Even with a regulate on there, say you regulated it as 10 vinteum, well, it would still export 32. So it would give that obelisk 32, but it wouldn't request anymore until it went below 10. It's just it exports 32, and that's what it tries to do every time. So if there's space, it's going to dump that 32 in there. But I figured I like having the full buffer, 64, whatever, that's fine. Because if I need vinteum right now, I can run over there, and by next episode, we'll have vinteum in a drawer, and so it's not going to be a big concern. Right now, these first ones are probably burning through vinteum a little bit, and that's because when an obelisk first gets set up, you know, it doesn't have anything in its internal buffer, and these actually have a rather large internal etherium buffer, 4,000. So that it has to fill that up, and that takes like 3 or 4 vinteum. So it does take a minute to fill that up. So anyways, our Arcane Reconstructor, we're going to need magic walls. Let's go ahead and grab a thing of those. And then we'll get the Reconstructor, pal. And then what I want to do is I'm just going to set this up like... we'll put it right here for right now. And we'll see. I may end up moving it. I don't know. I wish this thing would load. That would be great. There we go. Okay, so there's our Arcane Reconstructor, and I tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and just grab this mana battery that's up here. And I'm going to set this up down here. So we'll have the mana battery setting like right up here. I may end up moving it, or maybe making something that kind of comes down and looks like it's holding it, or, you know, spans across these two and looks like it's holding it. I'm not for sure, but for right now this will work. And what we're going to do is... go ahead and grab each of these obelisks and just connect them up to the mana battery. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take the mana battery connection and just connect it to our Arcane Reconstructor, and there we go. So that should be building up etherium. It does. It has 500 in there. Okay, so now what we can do is we can take off our armor, and we can stick this into there, and you'll notice that it starts running, and if you look, the durability is steadily going up on this. Okay? And you can see that's eating through some etherium, and our battery is steadily dropping. It does take a bit of etherium to repair armor, but the nice thing is what we can do is we can throw in all of our pieces, and what it's going to do is it's going to repair it and then dump it off over here. Okay? Now let me grab this out real quick, because I'm not ready to run that just yet. And what I want to do is I want to get... I may not have... No, I don't have the materials on me. Okay, let me get 3 pieces of glass, and we're going to make 3 mana foci. You know, we use those in the calefactors, and that was, you know, of course, to decrease the mana cost. Now, these also work in other machines. It's pretty much used in any machine that has a etherium cost, right? And that... do I have... Yes, I do. I had gold on me. Oops. Standard focus. There is mana focus. So these will also work in our arcane reconstructor. So we'll just put that into there. And that's going to make our armor a bit cheaper to repair. So very, very nifty. And now we'll have free armor repairing, you know, regardless of how many times it's been repaired, stuff like that. It does not matter. Oh, does this not... there we go. It just doesn't shift click into there. Okay. And then we can throw our armor back in there. Pow, pow, pow. And now if we take a look, you'll notice it's setting at 500. Well, every once in a while it drops to 425, but before it was dropping to 250. So that was a bit more noticeable before. And, I mean, it's steadily eating through mana faster than these can... are these not feeding? Actually, the mana battery, if it gets a redstone signal, right? Let me check. If I recall, if it gets a redstone signal, it'll pull mana from stuff. Yeah, they always provide power to connected devices, but they can also request etherium from the network when given a redstone signal. Okay. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to give this a redstone signal so it's always pulling mana. There we go. Now we're going up. Okay. So it wasn't actually being fed any mana. Now it's being fed mana by the obelisk, and it's going up faster than our arcane reconstructor is using mana. And if you take a look, I mean, this looks really, really cool. That's one thing. Ars Magica is spot on with the effects and stuff. You know, all the visuals going on and everything. You know, that's one thing about magic mods that I feel like tech mods just do not compare with, is that magic mods, for the most part, look so much more impressive than tech mods. Tech mods are like, here's a block, it may glow whenever it's running, or, you know, something like that. But magic mods tend to look a lot cooler. They do. And this is just insanity. Wait till we get to some of the other stuff from Astral Sorcery. It's great. But anyways, I know it's about wrapping up point, so I am getting it out here. Next episode, I'm not 100% sure what we're going to be doing next episode for sure. We may start on the Sand Town fairly soon, but I kind of want to get the subway in place before we do that, so we may be working on Railcraft. We may also be working on our slime farm for Britannia. We could also be working on our cat factory. We could, you know, there's so many different things. I don't know for sure what we're going to be working on. But we shall see. So, anyways, if you guys enjoyed it, as always, be sure and hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay up to date with when new videos come out. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. And as always, if you guys have any questions or anything, do let me know, and I'll do my best to get those answered for you. And until next time, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time.